All right, Simply Bitcoin. We break down the news from Twitter, the daily fail, meme review, the software releases, and the websites by plebes. All right, drop us a like, subscribe, number time, let's do it. All right, we are currently at a block height of 679,103. Current Bitcoin price, 63,000.
Guys, this is Satoshi, the Bitcoin Chicken, for anyone who's new to the channel, and he clucks every time the price of Bitcoin reaches an all-time high, which wasn't for like 20 days, but today, he did! Anyways, Phil?
Chain rewrite days, 602. Total lightning capacity, 1,209.10. Bitcoin versus gold market cap, 10.41%. Sats per dollar, look at that, we're below 1,600. 1,586, and today's all-time high price was 63,730.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful numbers. We finally crossed that 10%. We're now 10% of gold's market cap. We're coming for gold. Man, had a 5,000 year head start. Satoshi Nakamoto just is blowing it away in less than 12 years, give or take. Man, absolutely crazy. But anyways, Phil, it's time for
the daily fail. All right, daily fail. This douchebag again. All right, so this guy, decentralized money needs decentralized finance. ETH is the foundation. DeFi the pillars, all supporting freedom and garbage. Join Ethereum if you want to help change the world. Oh, we're gonna change the world with our with our Amazon Web Service hosted shitcoins. Anyways, no other cryptocurrency is better positioned for this goal. ETH now holds the banner high for all to rally around. But wait, there's more. Let's go back in time. Was it always ETH? Was ETH always going to change the world? No, it wasn't just ETH. Bcash was going to do the same thing. So, okay, look. Ever since I got into Bitcoin, this guy is just such a shitcoiner. Always has these ridiculous takes, and he's just selling you a different freaking bag every time. So, he's got great words, but he's just selling you garbage. Before it was B-Trash, now it's Ethereum.
and one day it's gonna be something else.
Gonna be some other shitcoin next time around.
Total shitcoiner, and he flip-flops, dude. Those are the worst, because the internet does not forget, right? So you might delete the tweet, but it's archived, and people are just not going to forget. And
nope.
Oh man, but that is what the Bitcoin immune system is for. If you just read the comments below that, he's just getting absolutely annihilated. Phil, you being one of them, but great, Phil. That being said, it's time for
the daily meme review.
All right, everybody. The meme for today is brought to us by RD_BTC. He needs no introduction. Nope. He is a Simply Bitcoin meme lord. He is a meme lord in general. He's not a Simply Bitcoin meme lord. He's a meme lord. He's a Bitcoin meme lord. But anyways, let's get to the meme. Check it out. Money printer, central banks, inflation, the real economy. Epic. Love it. And it just, you know what? It made me feel zen, especially because of the all-time high. And because it made me feel zen, Phil, I'm going to give this a mini Buddha.
I like that. Calming. Just seeing that just really brought me down to earth. Anyways, great score. Look, obviously I think it's an amazing meme. I'm going to give it skateboard multi-tool.
Man, I'm just going to stop trying to describe the scores because I clearly have run out of words, but a Buddha and a skateboard multi-tool.
We've got nothing.
I'm sorry, guys. Anyways, Phil, it's time for it.
The Daily News, sponsored by Crypto Cloaks.
All right, guys. Well, look, check this out. We've been talking about inflation for so long and how it's misrepresented by the official figures, right? But if you look at, signs in the economy, it's obviously telling you a different story, right? Now it's starting to kind of seep into mainstream knowledge. This is kind of a conservative commentator, Mike Cernovich, started paying attention to gas and food prices. Haven't seen inflation like this in my lifetime. What the hell? Why isn't this a huge story? How are people getting by? And of course, We got the Bitcoin immune system. Dr. Bitcoin MD, definitely a plebe.
Yep.
Part of that immune
Awesome
system.
pleb.
Everything is getting dramatically cheaper if you use a superior money as your store of value / unit of account. So it's like Phil, like, why is it, and I get into this fight with my father all the time. He's like, look, inflation, it's not there. It's not, it's not appearing. And he always shows me the CPI. But then you hear stories like this, right? Where it's like people are seeing, right, prices increase of the things that they actually use on a daily basis, like food and gas and power, right? And those things have gone up considerably. But wait, there's no inflation. Phil?
Yeah, look, I'm probably going to take it out of context, right? But I started looking for an e-bike recently, and no joke, the price on the e-bike went from $2,300 to over $3,000 in 2 months. Okay. Now, of course, that's, that could just be, supply and demand for the e-bikes or whatever it is, whatever it may be, that's perfectly fine. But what I'm saying is that, as I look around and I'm obviously buying consumables every day, I can totally see the price difference. Like, I go to the grocery store, I can absolutely see the price difference. Like, it's a small creep, but it's a small continuous creep. And that's what's happening. Like the gas prices, it's like, oh yeah, they're not really higher than they've ever been. Yeah, but they're not going down either. So it's like, this is what people aren't seeing. And the CPI, I just, again, right? You've got the people that are incentivized to create the metric to make things not look as bad as they are, that create the metric and then show you the result of that metric. I mean, look, we see this all the time in business. Like in business, like people, what happens? You set up a metric, and what does everyone do? They manage to the metric, because that's all there is at the end of the day. So, we're getting exactly, I mean, look, unfortunately, this is the result of the endless money printing. And right now, we're not seeing it as bad as we could because there is strong demand for the US dollar. But eventually, unfortunately, we may not see that strength all the time. So, I'm afraid as to what we're going to see in terms of pricing going forward in the next 10 to 15 years.
I totally agree. And look, it's funny because they say, look, the inflation is only 1 or 2%, like you said, Phil, but you look at the money supply, and like we showed you yesterday, they tried to change the metric, the chart, right? And the chart they changed it to was even worse, right? Like,
they can't even make that up.
But wait a second. There's no inflation.
There's no inflation. There's no inflation, and money printing isn't bad. Yeah, money printing is good.
Yeah, creating money out of thin air.
It's all good. It's all good that it's all good that all the work that you worked for is now worth less than when you worked for it originally. You can't go back and take that equal amount away from your customer or your employer, but that got taken from you. So, go pound.
Pound sand, right? That's what they tell the plebs, the simple plebs. But anyways, Phil, and not even the Bitcoin plebs, just plebs in general. To look at the fucking GameStop plebs, man. Oh, the system. And Bitcoin fixes this. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, more positive news. So we reported a couple days ago that Paxful got hacked, and how this is a bad example of why KYC is a bad thing, because it creates honey pot for hackers or potential malicious attackers, right? We still stand with KYC is a bad thing for those reasons, but to make a correction, to be fair, Paxful apparently wasn't hacked. If you believe the CEO, to quote the CEO directly, he said, "Any KYC data is never on our servers. We don't take asking for people's identities lightly." Youssef tweeted, "1 Bitcoin for 1 million users. We get this leak spam all the time. Always fake. No user data leaked." The reason that we wanted to make the correction in the first place, right, is, man, it's always important to tell you guys the truth, and that's what we want to represent on this show. Phil?
It's still dangerous. I do, I have to respect the fact that, he came out and spoke out against it. I think that's the right thing to do, especially if he's being accurate, right? If he's being truthful, then hey, absolutely. I think that it's good that he does that, because really we're seeing this, or we think we're seeing this happen more and more often. So it's kind of good to know that, some of it is fake, but it's also kind of scary, right?
All right, Phil. So the next piece of news, check this out. Another look, we've been telling you guys about how time is important because they've just been historically covering all these moments in history. We've showed you guys on the previous episodes all the epic, Time magazines and all the people on those magazines, from FDR, to the other side. You have Stalin, right? You have, it's all everybody in history. Well, I guess look, Time isn't a big institution, but I guess it's kind of funny. Time joins Tesla in keeping Bitcoin on its balance sheet. Kind of weird. I see it kind of more of a PR stunt. Thrilled Grayscale is partnering with Time on a new video series, which is why I think it's a PR stunt. Mm-hmm. And Time has agreed to be paid in Bitcoin, and check this out, and will hold the Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So it's a first for media partners and media companies. That's pretty cool. And it's pretty cool that it's Time Magazine. And more continuation of bullish news, Phil. Check this out. MicroStrategy to pay board in Bitcoin, right? So now you have Time Magazine hodling Bitcoin, a media company, right? And now you have MicroStrategy offering to pay their executives in Bitcoin. Absolutely bullish. And guys, other companies are not going to have a choice but to follow suit, because check out MicroStrategy's share price, right? At the end of the day, that's what investors care about, whether their portfolios going up, right? So, man, I expect more companies to offer their executives and their employees to be paid in Bitcoin directly. In the NBA, we've been seeing development from the Sacramento Kings, basically saying, look, we want to pay our players in Bitcoin. You have Russell Okung in the NFL, man. So this is like a movement, dude. Everything is coming together. Everyone's getting paid in Bitcoin. Media companies are putting Bitcoin on reserves. Teletubbies are buying Bitcoin. What the hell is going on? Anyways, Phil, what are your thoughts?
Oh man. So look, for the timepiece, look, reality is that, print is dead, so this is kind of a way to at least, help bring them forward. And at the same time, like, you kind of got to give them props. Like, they're not coming forward with some shitcoin. It's not like they're stepping up and saying, yay, shitcoin B. Like, they're coming in and they're doing the Bitcoin thing. So good for them. I'm definitely, I don't read Time, but I'm happy for them.
It's cool because a media company put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. That's why it's cool. But anyways, Phil, the last piece of news for the segment, this is pretty freaking crazy. Republican House leader wants regulators to embrace Bitcoin. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth himself.
So I wanted to ask you about this. It's totally out of left field, but we've got Coinbase coming with a direct listing. And I looked back when you were on. It was July of 2019. We were talking about Libra, and you didn't like Libra, but you were very positive about Bitcoin, which subsequently went from 7,000 or 8,000 to where a new high today at 63,000. Coinbase now coming public. When a lot of government types, you're very rare for someone to be positive about this. And I don't know if you saw Secretary Yellen and Fed Chair Powell talking about it. Do you think that they have a feeling or a good understanding of digital currencies or Bitcoin at this point? Or they need a little remedial reading, a little reading of the Bitcoin standard? What would you suggest?
Well, I think I was right then and I'm right now. I think they tried to ignore it to make it go away. I think Jamie Dimon will tell you that from the beginning he was wrong. This is moving towards the future. They should ignore it. They should not only learn more about it, but the basis is going to continue to grow. And this is something that those who regulate, those who are in government that make policy, better start understanding what it means for the future, because other countries are moving forward, especially China. I do not want America to fall behind. I want the next century to be ours. That's why I want to look forward, not backwards, and not keep.
Okay. Guys.
Oh.
What you saw there, that's an effing massive victory. Okay. That is the GOP minority leader in the House of Representatives. Okay. The GOP minority leader in the House of Representatives. Okay. We also have Cynthia Lummis. We also have the mayor of Miami. you're starting to see the battle lines, right? But on the Democratic, we're apolitical on this show. We're just describing the situation, of course. On the Democratic side, you have Brad Sherman calling for its ban, right? So this is going to get spicy, Phil, but I am so glad that we have we have alliances in at least some parts of the government, of the American government, right? That are bullish to Bitcoin, and they understand the fact that you can't stop it, right? And the first country to basically use Bitcoin, right, to keep it on its reserves is gonna thrive, and the country that decides to incorporate it last is gonna sink, right? So he gets it very clearly, and I'm very happy to hear it from somebody at his level in politics. Phil?
Yeah, so Brad Sherman can go pound sand. He has terrible takes, and he just seems like a bitter individual. Possibly life didn't turn out the way that Brad wanted it to. Anyways, he can have fun staying poor. But otherwise, we can't be stopped. We can't be censored. This is Bitcoin. It's just not going away. Every person who's tried to ignore it eventually just cannot. And that is, that was one of to me, like, that was an incredibly bullish clip. I loved it. It's nice to see. It's nice to see these people that are being, they're being objective about the information that they're reading, and they're like, holy shit, we are going to get screwed if we don't pay attention to this, and we don't get a handle on this, and we don't start to understand what Bitcoin is and what it's going to mean to us. So, man, props to him.
Props to him, and you're absolutely right, Phil, on literally every single thing you said. And I think, Phil, it's the GOP House leader, man. Yeah. It's like the tippity top. It's like not some representatives. No. This is the tippity top, right? And you have Cynthia Loomis speaking at Bitcoin 2021. What is going on, right? Phil,
bullish.
But anyways, Phil, there was a software release today. Why don't you tell everybody about it?
Software releases. All right, it looks like we've got btc-rpc-explorer version 3.0 that was released, and that is down below in the show notes.
Awesome, thank you, Phil. All right, guys, that was our show. Like always, if you enjoyed the show, don't forget to smash that like button and smash it. And of course, if you want to continue hearing the news from the Bitcoin perspective, and of course, keep hearing the daily fails, definitely consider subscribing. And we will see you tomorrow for another episode of Simply Bitcoin.